Hello everyone. I hope you are all doing well. Here it is a milder day, and yet it is a very humid day. Now, humidity can play a part in how well a straw will perform. Sometimes it makes a straw more supple and easier to work with, particularly at this stage, which is the center of the crown or the tip. Now, another thing that high humidity can do is prolong the drying and blocking process. Now, luckily, here in the 21st century, I can close the doors and windows, turn on the air conditioning, or even turn on a fan to help encourage pieces to dry evenly and swiftly. Now, of course, in the 19th century, that would not have been an option. So this particular piece, this time, obviously has a few differences. First of all, the straw is black. And second of all, the portion that I'm sewing is more of an oval shape rather than a circle. And that's because this is going to be the top of the crown of a hat rather than a bonnet. Now, black dyed natural wheat or rye straw tends to be a couple things. First, is a bit more fragile. Second, is a bit looser in the braid. And third, a little more uneven as we go. I think what happens is while the straw plait is being dyed and the fibers are absorbing the dye, the braid loosens up a little bit. And at times it allows it to separate along the length of the braid. Now, occasionally, working with this black straw, and then also the blue, the dark blue straw, the color will come off on my fingertips. It has not done so yet. Sometimes this color transfer will wash off, other times it doesn't. Now, when I said the straw is more delicate, that is primarily in the dampened working stage. Once the straw dries as a hat or a bonnet, it seems to retain more strength or recover more strength. And as you can see, it's wanting to pucker a bit. And we're going to say that that is the end of that thread. And grab a little more. Again, this is the Gutermann 100% cotton that I like. managed to thread that fairly well. I'm learning things like threading through a camera can be a little difficult. Your eyes or what you're seeing doesn't always line up with what you're feeling. Let's see, how are we doing on camera? There we are. Now someone asked me about the length of my stitches. I am doing a running stitch on the front, the outside here. The stitches are small. I try to keep them roughly the width of the straw itself, and I like to do my best at burying the thread in the straw. When I do that, it does take longer. So eventually, each season, I do pull away from that a bit, which is more in line with what you see on originals. The back side is a much longer stitch, and this tends to land, see if you can see them there, between a 1/2 inch and 1 inch. Now the directions in the booklet that I shared with you last week require that those stitches be a 1/2 inch. Looking at originals, that stitch does vary. And between a 1/2 inch and 1 inch is pretty common. Oftentimes when you look at an original straw bonnet and you see how nice and neat and smooth the exterior is, it's kind of shocking when you look inside and you see so many rows and upon rows of thread piling up. Little itch. Let's move the camera a little. There we go. I think that's a little better. Now I tend to sew at about this pace. I might be going a little bit slower since I am talking. But at this pace, it takes me about 10, maybe 11 hours of hand sewing to complete a hat or bonnet from the 1850s or 60s. I actually want to say 1850s into the 1860s. Larger Romantic era and Regency pieces, because they are larger and have a few more structural changes, do take me a bit longer than that. Now, in addition to the sewing is the blocking, which is putting the piece on an antique or reproduction millinery block to set the shape, and the sizing is what actually helps stiffen and strengthen the straw for wear. That occurs after sewing the majority of the piece, and then I do the wiring. And like I said in a previous video, I prefer to cover the wire with a row of plait And that simultaneously represents what we see in some originals. It helps add structure and support to a piece. It appeases our modern eye, and it'll help a piece last longer. Let me adjust a little more again, since this is getting bigger. Now, I welcome questions. You can put them in the comment section either directly on YouTube or in my blog. These videos can be found in both places, and those links are below. And of course, you are welcome to join my other patrons on Patreon. That link is below as well. Patrons receive my in-detail publications and updates on my learning how to repair and hopefully eventually restore original bonnets. This particular hat, my plan is to make it a taper crown style, which has a almost round, yet still oval, top to the crown. And it'll get a fashionably shaped brim. And I'm either going to do rows of natural golden straw or rows of the forest green straw. I have yet to decide which. Both combinations are beautiful. Okay, I think I'm going to keep this video short today. Thank you all for joining me. I'll be sharing a Whimsy Wednesday video this week as well. And I will hopefully be doing some videos of my women's employment interpretation this weekend. We shall see how the time goes for that. I will see you all next time.